the plug.
With every ritual, it requires blood. I heard they traffic children through the Friars Club. Crowley said that the only law is love. It was on the 6th day when he thought of us. You gain your birthright when you pull the plug. Sheep wool over eyes, how they pull the rug. Jacob wore sheepskin, made a fool of Z. Make a fool of us, we'll make a fool of me. When you come from Judah, everything disguised. The lies I expose just might get me fried. You can never kill what can never die. For every one man I have 7 wives. It's now the end times, hope you niggas ready. 1666, the reign of Zebediah Zevi. They had a burning bush before they broke a levee. I can't trust a bitch, she leaving blood up in spaghetti. Mother goddess worship, niggas got no purpose. They in the battle with the truth, wonder where the curtains. Got these niggas blind, make a lot sublime. 12 years of a slave, not the 12 tribes. Ain't no missing links, or no Sasquatch. How you rid the game, so looking for a jackpot. I treat black ops, just like black ops. Black dot is the devil worship mascot. Cause with every ritual, it requires blood. I heard they traffic children through the Friars Club. Crowley said that the only law is love. It was on the 6th day when he thought of us.
Yeah. Yo.
Got a jiggly pub, jiggly.
Yo. Salute. Welcome to the new year, January 1st, 2026. And if this first day of the year is any indication how the rest of this year is going, it's going to be the year of YouTube's demise, the year of people's getting their channel taken down. Yes, Samson Simpson again. Another channel from Adept was taken down. I was just in the process of watching one of his lives, and it got taken down again. YouTube is clearly broken. The system is clearly broken. There are some things that we can do as content creators, but at the same time, if people feel bullied and harassed, there's really not much you can do about that. If certain people feel like they're being bullied and harassed and, they want to take your channel down, there's really nothing that you can do about that. When you have people in this community that promote it, they promote bullying, harassment, there's really not much you can do about this. When you have people that promote flagging channels for bullying and harassment, what can you really do in this situation? His channel was taken down. I'm just reporting on it. I got the information out of the Discord. It is another page gone.
In the cyber blicket. What's HB gonna do when one day I'm like, you know what, fuck this dude, and I just flag his channel for harassment and bullying?
And that is the sentiment of a lot of people in this community, where they do feel like, what can you do if I just feel like hitting your page for flagging and bullying? That's how a lot of people feel. They don't really want to be on the panel and go back and forth and have a argument or debate. it's much easier to just sit in the wings and report to YouTube, make up victim statement letters, go to YouTube, say how the words that are said about you online are affecting your personal life, affecting your emotions. You may start thinking of deleting the game file. One thing that I want you guys to make sure you go subscribe to me on Rumble. Go subscribe to Adept Hnic on the Rumble page. I'm really surprised Adept isn't going live on there more often. He literally has two pages on Rumble, one with 540 followers and another one with 714 followers on Rumble. I'm currently streaming on both apps right now. I'm streaming on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. So let me make sure the Rumble page is working still. Yeah, I think we got 2 people in the chat on the Rumble side. Salute to y'all. Let me make sure I comment real quick. Rumble. I need to change my avatar over there on Rumble. Let me see if it shows up. Yep, here we go. Yeah. That's the Rumble page right there. So, and Rumble doesn't really play that. And I just think it's better for streaming and not having to lose a lot of the content regardless. Plus Rumble is a lot more free speech leaning. There's a lot of people won't even play about that. They won't even joke about bullying and harassment over at Rumble. So make sure you guys go subscribe to my Rumble page. If you're on Rumble, go subscribe to Adept's Rumble page. But sometimes this can be so aggravating when you put so much time and effort into creating these YouTube pages and somebody through a loophole in YouTube can just take that all away and then sit back and act like they had nothing to do with it. Be all in your face, playing all in your face, pretending like they had nothing to do with it, like they don't know what happened. They don't know what happened. They're in the Discord laughing about it. They're on YouTube threatening people with it. And now they taken down another one of Adept's channels, which I thought was pretty much extremely tame, especially when it comes to Adept. But I think there's certain people that we know we can't really speak on unless it's a very you just have to go about things differently with YouTube. You really do. I had to really look up how do you go about this on YouTube. I might need to send it to Adept just to kind of test it out to see if this is even how you can get around this. There might not even be anything that you could do to get around these strikes or bullying and harassment claims. What I will say, though, is I know AI is responsible for a lot of this. AI is reading what you're saying in YouTube. They're reading it. Their AI is acknowledging your tone, how you go about saying things. And Adept does have a Bronx accent. And I think to most AI, it does sound aggressive. So maybe that has something. Maybe there's a little bit of biasness built into the AI generator. A lot of times that New York Bronx accent just in itself has a very aggressive tone to it. But that is part of the YouTube algorithm right now, where even the tone that you speak in can get your channel clipped. If you're just online saying something in an aggressive tone, in an aggressive manner, it can get your page clipped. So they did get another channel was taken down. It is unfortunate. You know, the people, the machine, the supporters, there are no fans over here. There's really only supporters over here. They will continue to support, but I do believe we have to start migrating to other channels, other apps. We got to get back to Rumble. I'm on Rumble right now. Make sure you guys go subscribe over there. HB2N on Rumble. I will start live streaming over there as well. We're going to build up as many channels as we can on as many apps as we can to keep the movement moving. And hopefully we can even gain in some new subscribers and new fans over there. I do want to definitely bring back Uncompromised Radio very soon, but how we go about this has to be very meticulous. The days of just hitting the live and turning up, going ham, those days are over. YouTube is really pushing for direct content, edited content, censored content, and content where your freedom to speak how you may or speak how you want is squashed. No longer can you call somebody a derogatory term. No longer can you make fun of somebody's looks or tone of voice or how they choose to live their life. A lot of people turn to substances. They turn to extortion. They turn to violence. And YouTube is doing everything they can to avoid that. They do everything they can to avoid that. I just wrote a comment about how to do an uncensored live and YouTube didn't show it. Yeah, there's this algorithm, this AI algorithm is extreme right now. It is really extreme. It's learning every day. It knows what it's doing. That's why we have to be very careful about how we go about this. Very careful. Very, very careful. It is unfortunate, but another page from Adept has been taken down. We're not sure who it is because, again, it was done by bullying and harassment, the guideline, the YouTube guideline. So we're not sure who did it, but there is a lot of evidence out here who possibly did this. Adept's last live had to do a lot with Social Assassin, and I salute the community that were really holding him accountable during that last live. The chat was going crazy. Yo, salute to the chat for really holding Social Assassin accountable for his behavior in virtual battle rap. But that was the last live, and then the chat or the channel was taken down. So I'm not sure who didn't want you guys to see that last live. I'm not sure who felt a way about that last live, but a lot of people are putting these narratives out there. They're putting this sentiment in the ether that if you do feel bullied or harassed, we're going to take your channel. You don't get to have a voice anymore. We're going to take your channel. I'll play like I rock with you, but really behind the scenes, I'm trying to get your channel taken down. That's why when somebody even plays around with stuff like that, you got to take them serious. I'm not going to think everything is just a joke anymore when it comes to people who play around with that. And you have to go about it a lot differently. I think Rumble has to be the next spot that we go to. Rumble's got to be. I'm looking at Rumble right now. It's still pretty lit over here. It looks like they've done better as far as the layout and everything. I'm seeing we got Alex Jones over here, Steven Crowder, Fresh and Fit, Tommy Sotomayor is over here. So there's still some people over here that are doing their thing. So we're going to have to definitely migrate over to Rumble. If you have the Rumble app, make sure you download that. Make sure you subscribe to HB2N. Subscribe to Adept HNIC. There's two Adept HNIC channels. There's Adept /HNIC and Adept HNIC, all one word. So we're going to make sure you guys go subscribe to both of those channels. But yet again, another page has been taken down. Another page. Make sure you guys go to the Discord too if you still want to join the conversation. Add me on IG, HB_2N on IG. Add me over there if you want to still be in contact. Yeah, salute to everybody in the chat. Another page gone. Another historic run gone. I think Adept had just passed 500 subscribers. And I think that is one of the things that people really dislike about what's going on over here. The people genuinely rock with us. We could lose a channel. They're going to resubscribe. They're going to support. People are not just a bunch of followers. Not everybody agrees with us as content creators. You know, what was so crazy is I was watching that last live where Adept was talking with Social Assassin, and the whole chat was disagreeing with everything that was being said. But Adept didn't get angry. He wasn't getting mad. He wasn't blocking people out of the chat, because Adept and what we stand for over here is free speech. Just because Adept says something or I say something doesn't mean that you should automatically agree. Everything Social was saying and that people in the chat were debunking, saying was a filthy, it just wasn't the truth. A lot of people were really going back, and I think that people really do appreciate that they can go into a live, go into a chat, go to a page where they don't feel like their voice can't be heard or is silenced, or you get blocked just because you don't agree with somebody. And I know a lot of pages over here, if you say anything in certain people's chats, they're going to block you immediately. They're going to block you. They're going to talk mess about you, and then they're going to block you right out of the chat. And it's consistent. You could be a supporter. They'll still block you if you go against their narrative, what they're really trying to push. And I did want to speak on how there were certain people that had issues with me speaking on the extortion of virtual battle rap by Social Assassin via Pablo Picasso. I know I shouldn't have said it publicly. And I do want to apologize to Yo-Yo for saying it publicly, because it wasn't really my place to say it publicly. But when I heard he was being extorted, I had to say something about that. I had to, because I don't like narratives being spun like Yo-Yo is doing bad business. People don't have any money to donate to certain causes. We just threw away $500 today to the chat to spit bars. We threw it away. So when certain characters come over here and say that people don't respect virtual battle rap, people don't respect battle rap, no, it's not. It's people don't respect the manipulation tactics. People don't respect the pandering. People don't respect the backhanded compliments. People don't respect the glazing. People don't respect bad business. They don't respect that. They don't respect the whining and complaining. That's what people don't respect. The bars are one thing, but your character is another. And it's hard to respect the bars if you don't respect the person rapping them. It's not just about the bars. It's never just been about the bars. As much as battle rap wants you to believe that, it's never just about the bars. Tech Nine was a great wordsmith. Is it just about the bars with Tech Nine? Nah. It's not. So yeah, I do apologize for Yo-Yo for talking about it publicly, but I just can't. A lot of stuff that I hear behind the scenes, I don't speak on. I really don't. I know way more about a lot of people in this community that I just don't speak on publicly. But when it's 2 days before an event and somebody tells Yo-Yo, if you don't pay this money, he's not going to show up, that is what's called a threat. Now, when you threaten somebody to do something unless they pay money, that is the textbook definition of extortion. The textbook definition. When you say, if you don't pay me this amount of money, this is going to happen. That is a threat. If you don't pay that bread, and you have 48 hours to do it. This is the same tactics I saw Tony Soprano do. This is the same thing that I saw Paulie do. This is the same thing I saw Ralphie do. That's textbook extortion. I know sometimes people don't like to use the correct words that define a certain action, but that's exactly what it is. Business is coming to an agreement. That's what business is. Now, what Yo-Yo and Pablo did, they did business behind the scenes because it got done. They handled that. But what Social tried to do with Yo-Yo is textbook extortion. And what's even worse is he did that on Pablo's behalf. So now it makes it look like Pablo is culpable. It makes him look like he's guilty by association when I know Pablo doesn't move like that. I know he doesn't get down like that. But Social feels away because of some of the content that I've made about him. And I did offer him the chance for me to take that stuff down. Especially if he did feel like it was bullying and harassment. So I did offer him that chance to take that content down. He didn't want to take it because he felt like if he agreed to it, which he wanted to, he felt like I would make fun of him about that also, which I thought was extremely immature. If you have a problem with some content somebody's making about you, and then they offer to take it down, if all you have to do is say, yeah, I want you to take the content down, and you're worried that I'm gonna then make fun of you for asking to take it down. No. Some people actually have integrity. Some people, it's not always a game of checkers. Some people are playing chess. Me asking you that was to extend the olive branch because I do take bullying and harassment very serious. I do. I've seen people get exposed on YouTube and contemplate erasing their memory cards. I've seen it. I've seen people wake up and their Facebook was hacked and now they're being extorted, or somebody's going to leak a bunch of new pictures of them and how they went through turmoil and stuff. A lot of this stuff you guys think is just, oh, HB is just doing something to line somebody up for something else. Just because you look at certain people a certain way doesn't mean that they're all like that. Some people are just genuine. So when I said I would take all of that content down, I genuinely meant that. I could genuinely move on, but you were so worried about what my next move was that you didn't want to agree to that. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So instead, now we're going to report on everything, but we're going to do it in a way where we just talk about the facts. No name calling, no slander, no talking crazy, none of that. So the textbook definition of extortion is the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. Now, when you threaten Yo-Yo that Pablo will not show up for a battle less than 12 hours away for undisclosed amount of money, $200. That is the textbook definition of extortion. That's not business. Business is negotiation. That's business. So I apologize that I used the words that actually define what happened, but I don't apologize for saying it is what it is. That is what extortion is. Look up the textbook definition of it. It's unfortunate that that's what you tried to do to Yo-Yo, and you thought Yo-Yo was just gonna acquiesce to that. No. And everybody knows that the only reason why you even went at Yo-Yo like that is because he didn't want to do the battle with you anymore. And I get that. But if it's just business, let the business be the business. Don't then go try to extort him and go around him and speak for Pablo and make him look like an extortionist, because now it looks like Pablo does bad business when we know Pablo's never done anything like that. So I get it. It's easier to just blame me for saying it is what it is, but a lot of people in this community don't take accountability for their actions. They don't want to take accountability for their actions. But you have to take accountability for your actions. I understand it though. In America, there are certain groups of people that don't like to take accountability for their actions. There's a certain generation of people that have angst and rage that don't like to take accountability for the things that they do. They want to blame everybody else, minorities, disproportionately affected groups of people. They want to blame handicapped people. They want to blame the left. They want to blame the right. They want to blame women. Some of them even want to blame God. That's why we have to move by example. And by example, we can't blame other people for things. We have to take responsibility for our actions. So, Yo-Yo, I do apologize for putting that information out there prematurely. But when I see a friend, a business partner, a consigliere, a constituent being extorted, I take offense to that. Now, it's one thing to joke and clown about Yo-Yo, but it's a whole nother thing to extort the man. I know there was things said that HB doesn't respect Yo-Yo. No, I respect Yo-Yo very much. Yo-Yo does things that I could never do. I did 2 battle rap events, and honestly, there was maybe listen, man. I don't like looking at these battlers differently. When you hear about what's going on with them behind the scenes, it makes them look a lot differently on screen when you listen to them rap. When you hear a guy rap, but then he gets online and talks about, his pet frog is in the hospital, it just makes you kind of look at him a little differently. When you hear a guy talking about how he'll spray the ratchet, but behind the scenes, you know, he's having money issues. He's getting evicted. His baby mom is physically and verbally abusing him. When you see these things behind the scenes, it really does take away from the artistry. When you see a guy complaining about a couple dollars because he's short on rent, it really takes away from the artistry. So for Yo-Yo to know all of these things about a lot of these guys and still show them respect, give them respect, I respect the hell out of him. I respect the hell out of him. But what I don't respect is somebody trying to extort him out of bread. Because I've been really consistent with that. When he told me that he paid D Money back for the money he lost with Geechee Gotti, I said it publicly. He shouldn't have gave him anything. He shouldn't have gave him a dime. So yeah, I respect Yo-Yo for making people who he knows have money issues, that are struggling, that are check to check, live paycheck to check. I respect him for at least doing what he can to make them better. Because for me, I don't have any sympathy for anybody. I work too hard to have sympathy for people who want to get online and complain about what they have, what they don't have, and then be pocket watching other people. If you weren't spending so much time pocket watching me and Adept and Yo-Yo, maybe you could have had that money already for Pablo. But when you're sitting there watching other people's money, how much money they have, you lose track of that. So God bless all of them. God bless Yo-Yo. God bless Pablo. I heard Pablo's grandma's in the hospital right now. God bless her. And God bless Social Assassin too. Hopefully he learns how to do business a little bit better and doesn't try to extort people. But by definition, that's what that was, Social Assassin. So me talking about it publicly, I'm actually doing you a favor. I'm doing you a favor. And sometimes too, extortion, it doesn't necessarily have to be for money too. I think when you have an event and you wait 2 days before the event to ask for that money, it makes the threat of not showing up even greater. It's basically, it goes from extortion to possible sabotage. So yeah, I think by definition that's exactly what people did. I know the word may hurt some people's feelings, but I feel like I'm using it correctly. I could be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, please leave a comment in the chat. I do like to have open discussions about things like that. But if you guys feel that I'm wrong, leave a comment in the chat. I'm about to end this live. I appreciate everybody pulling up. Hopefully, Adept starts a new page on YouTube. Hopefully, he starts going back on the Rumble. I'm not really sure what the next plan is, but the Rumble page is up and running. It is lit. Hold on one second. I see. Okay. Hold on. I'm checking my IG right now. Make sure you guys go subscribe to me over our IG, HB_2N. Yo, that giveaway too was fire today, man. That giveaway was fire. Damn. Yo. Damn, hold on a second. Let me see. In the past, when I was younger, I was in the swinger lifestyle for about 12 years. Single and in relationships. Swinger of 12 over a decade? Yes. Shit. When it comes to this open relationship shit. Oh yeah, this is nasty. This is nasty. Yeah, I don't yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Hold on a second. Let me download that real quick. Maybe we can yeah, let me download that. Was in the swinger lifestyle. Wow. Yeah, maybe we could talk about that one of these days. What do you guys think about the swinger lifestyle? Capology Facts, he said he used to be a swinger for 12 years, single and in relationships. I think you can only be a swinger if you're in a relationship, right? I think if you're not in a relationship, that's not technically swinging. You have to be in a relationship. So maybe he meant singles and in a relationship. Like while he was swinging, he was with single people and in relationships. But God bless Capology Facts. I personally could never live that lifestyle. I think it's demonic. I think opening your wife up to being with other men is homoerotic. Just the thought of another man being with my lady physically makes me sick to my stomach. So to know that there's some men that actually get aroused by that, it's definitely homoerotic. Okay. Nah, Samson, you're good, man. I was just asking. Yeah. I was looking for one specifically, the Maze one, the Mazeavelli one. But anyway, they got another one at Adept's channels, you guys. I do want to talk about that too, though. I'm not gonna lie. That was wild. That was wild. That was wild. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about. Maybe we could talk about that tomorrow. Anyway, you guys, salute to everybody. Make sure you guys go subscribe over at the Rumble page. We're gonna keep everything moving forward. You guys stay blessed. As always, God bless America. God bless the chat, man. I'll keep you guys updated as far as when the next page is gonna be, where it's gonna be, and yeah. YouTube is broken. Unfortunately, people promote flagging for bullying and harassment. So this is just part of it, I guess. Growing pains. But we're all going to get through this, man. God bless you guys. I'm out of here.